There was one performance that stood out from the rest during the electrifying atmosphere of The Voice Season 27 knockouts. It was Tinika Wyatt's interpretation of the emotions Best of My Love, which stirred the emotions of their audience. The mother of four, who was headquartered in San Diego, did not only sing when she was 50 years old. Rather, she ignited the stage by channeling enthusiasm, resiliency, and sheer talent. A masterclass in originality, her performance demonstrated that passion and authenticity can outshine even the youngest stars. Her performance was not simply a highlight of the competition, it was a masterclass in creativity. We are going to go into the manner in which Tinika transformed a disco classic into a moment of pure magic, which ultimately earned her a position in the playoffs and won the hearts of viewers all around the world. The process of arriving to the knockouts. The path that Tinika Wyatt took to become a contestant on The Voice knockouts was anything but typical. Tinika was a seasoned vocalist who had performed in a variety of languages, including Italian, Korean, Zulu, and others. Her voice served as a bridge between many cultures. Her career had taken her to churches, nightclubs, and worldwide venues. However, despite her years of experience, her blind audition to Demi Lovato's song, Sorry Not Sorry, did not turn heads. It wasn't until Adam Levine pushed the coach replay button that he was moved by her contagious personality and a cheeky original song she had written years ago that name-checked him. Her knockout victory was made possible by the fact that she was given a second opportunity. By the time the knockouts arrived on March 31, 2025, Tinika had already become a member of Team Kelsey. This was owing to the fact that Kelsey Ballerini had taken her away during the battles when she sang a breathtaking rendition of How Deep Is Your Love with Connor James. Tinika was put in the position of competing against Dan Kiernan in the knockouts, which presented her with a formidable obstacle, selecting a song that would highlight her range, personality, and consistency. What would she choose? The Emotions released their disco soul classic, Best of My Love, in the year 1977. It was an audacious decision, one that was both classic and timeless, and it required vocal perfection as well as unfettered energy. After that, there came a performance that not only won the round, but also redefined what it means to be the one who owns the stage. The idea that led to the creation of Best of My Love. When it comes to music, creativity is not limited to simply hitting notes. Rather, it is about conveying a narrative with every intonation, every movement, and every glance performed. The protagonist of Tinika's Best of My Love was a victorious individual. Because of its addictive groove and soaring harmonies, the song served as the ideal canvas for her to express herself. Beginning with the first few bars, she imbued it with a sensation of warmth that was reminiscent of a celebration of life itself. Rich and raspy, her voice danced over the song, weaving between silky glides and strong belts that impacted the audience like a wave. Her voice was in perfect harmony with the melody. During her performance, she was able to make a song that was already recognized feel like it was something completely fresh. Tinika turned the song Best of My Love into a personal hymn, despite the fact that it had the potential to become a karaoke standard. She did not imitate the original delivery of The Emotions. Rather, she recreated it by combining disco swagger with gospel fervor. The way she phrased her words was purposeful. She stretched out the notes to create anticipation, and then she snapped them back with rhythmic precision. Is it the scratchy finish that the reviewers praised so much? This was not merely a peculiarity of Tinika's voice. Rather, it was her signature, a gritty exclamation point on each and every line. At the same time, her stage persona was very innovative. Tinika, who was 50 years old, walked with the self-assurance of someone who was half her age, and her enthusiasm was infectious. She worked the stage like a seasoned performer, making eye contact with the crowd, dancing to the beat, and allowing delight to emanate from her very soul. This was her moment, and she was giving it everything she had. It was as if she was declaring, "This is my moment." According to Michael Bublé, who felt the Holy Spirit ripping through her, and John Legend, who remarked that she sang her face off, the coaches took attention to her performance. Kelsey Ballerini, who is torn between Tinika and Dan, described her presence as a joy to coach. This view was shared by fans over the internet, who filled the internet with admiration. Confrontation with a knockout. When it comes to the knockouts, teammates compete against one another by playing a solo song of their choosing, and their coach chooses one of them to move on to the next round. Dan Kiernan, Tinika's adversary, gave a powerful performance of Chantel's Impossible, and his voice filled the room with the emotional depth that was so characteristic of the song. In terms of nuance and passion, he received great marks from critics, and some of them even predicted that he would finish ahead of Tinika. Tinika, on the other hand, delivered an entirely different kind of performance. Tinika's was a blast of light in a round that was full of hard hitters, in contrast to Dan's, which was more introspective. Her inventiveness shined through in the way that she managed to marry technical expertise with emotional connection. Rather than merely singing the song, she actually lived it. Every single run was deliberate, and every single gesture was genuine. She was able to know when to pull back, allowing the song to breathe, and when to unleash her whole vocal arsenal, reaching high notes that sent chills through the studio. The arrangement remained faithful to the disco roots of the song, while also having a contemporary feel. It featured a faint gospel undertone that made a reference to Tinika's involvement in worship. It was a performance that paid tribute to the past, while also emphasizing the importance of the future. The choice that Kelsey made was not an easy one. Dan had untapped potential, but Tinika possessed something even more uncommon, an artistic identity that was fully realized. Not only was it a triumph for Kelsey when she selected Tinika to move on to the playoffs, but it was also a victory for every dreamer who has been told that their time has come and gone despite their best efforts. Tinika's path, which began with almost missing the cut and ended with her stealing the show, is evidence that creativity can flourish at any age, particularly when it is fueled by a sense of purpose. With a broader perspective, more than merely a resounding victory, Tinika's Best of My Love was a watershed moment in the history of culture. When she was 50 years old, she questioned the music industry's preoccupation with youth by demonstrating that genius does not diminish but rather grows. She gave a performance that struck a chord with spectators because they recognized their own aspirations reflected in her bravery. As she appeared on, viewers referred to her as a queen, an inspiration, and the heart of season 27. This was put up in a message that said, Tinika Wyatt just demonstrated that it is never too late to shine. This stage was known as hers. She added layers to her performance by sharing her story, which consisted of raising 4 children, taking a break from the spotlight, and then coming back with a bang. This made each note feel like a victory over uncertainty. In addition to the theater, she was creative in other areas. Tinika has been using music to inspire people for a long time. She is a member of Aware Worship, and songs like Cry Out have amassed millions of views collectively. Her journey on The Voice was an extension of that objective, an opportunity to extend happiness through the medium of song. Not only was the decision to go with Best of My Love strategic, but it was also significant. It was a declaration of self-love and resiliency. Tinika's sincerity was her superpower in a competition that was full of polished prodigies. She reminded us that the most innovative actions are often the most human ones, leaving behind a performance's legacy. Not only did Tinika's performance in Knockout earn her a berth in the playoffs, but it also established a new benchmark for what The Voice is capable of becoming. Tinika's performance struck out due to the fact that it was so heartfelt. Season 27, which featured coaches Adam Levine, John Legend, Kelsey Ballerini, and Michael Bublé, was filled with a lot of talented people. A microphone, a song, and a lifetime of passion were all she required. She did not require any gimmicks or sob stories. Her victory not only advanced her to the playoffs, where she would continue to represent Team Kelsey, but it also solidified her position as a fan favorite, whose influence would continue to be felt for months to come. The album, Best of My Love, by Tinika Wyatt was, in the end, a love letter, not only to music, but also to her family and to herself. It was the epitome of creativity, taking a classic and making it your own while leaving everyone else including yourself, better off as a result. Tinika's light is not just brilliant, it is dazzling, and it is just getting brighter as she continues to advance in The Voice. This is apparent as she progresses further in the competition.